Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks. Michael Zuber, one rental at a time. Back with Stephen Dow from Velocity Mortgage, somebody who gave me 30-year money on an office and an apartment, which I will never forget. Thank you very much, folks. How you doing, buddy?
I'm fantastic. And yourself?
I'm doing well. Do me a favor. This topic will not do, I don't think we'll do anything about Velocity Mortgage, but let's not make marketing upset. So can you do the little disclaimer, please?
Yes, I was just wondering if you were going to remember that. So again, although I work very happily for Velocity Mortgage Capital.
Yeah, look at that.
Thank you. Casual Fridays. In any case, in my house. Although I work happily for Velocity Mortgage Capital, all the ideas and topics discussed on this channel are that of my own. So let's get it going.
You know what? I just want to have an honest discussion with you and the audience here, kind of self-reflection. All my conversations are honest, but this is kind of self-reflection. I did a conversation yesterday with the three amigos about owner occupants, most specifically first-time home buyers, right? I got, as I admitted in that video, I get, I don't know, several comments a day. So dozens, like with an S, a week, talking about, hey, can one rental at a time help me, the home buyer, right? A homeowner, first-time homeowner, right? It's tough out here and all of that. And for the longest time, my initial gut reaction was, no, right? I'm not your guy. Because I always remembered when we bought our place, it was for reasons other than yield or cash on cash, right? If you take my course, you do what I do, it's all about the yield, right? I buy the highest yield. It doesn't matter if it's a small house or an apartment. I buy yield. And that was not anywhere on the list of variables when Olivia and I bought our home, right? It was school district, basically was school district. And then on the newer side.
Different metrics, that's all.
Yeah. So I've always felt like just no, right? Because I didn't use it and I don't feel good talking about it. But I had that conversation. I've seen the comments in the video because there's been dozens. Thank you, everybody, for leaving comments. You're a member of my course. You've been through it. I am actually starting to think that maybe the idea of a buy box, daily discipline, good, average, bad, great, or good, great, there actually might be a play for homeowners. Because again, it's about learning your market, especially today, because I think the market is pivoting from a wildly over seller's market to more of a balanced market. Because what we didn't have the last 2 years, Stephen, and where I always thought was speed. I can't help you, right? It's not my thing. But when the market slows down and you have more of a heartbeat, right? You can like take a pulse, a breath. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy, but I'm starting to think buy box, daily discipline, understanding what's average, good, or great might actually be helpful for first-time home buyers. But I wanted to ask you, you've been through the course. We talk every week. What do you think?
I mean, it's the same exercise that the course teaches you to do that would still be universal across the board, whether you're looking at investment properties or just, residential properties that you might want to live in, as far as from that standpoint. But I think again, it's all relative to the investor, because again, I think back then you were saying you didn't really look at the possibility of using the course in the way of looking for owner occupied properties, because you weren't again, you're just looking for yield,
right?
But again, you could also look at yield in the way of a house hack.
You could, yeah.
Also in the way of multifamily, as it pertains to us, because we don't really
you don't play
land on owner occupied property for residential, but on 5 or more units you can live in one of the units. And I believe if my memory serves me correctly, Arnold Schwarzenegger started out that way.
He did. Yeah, we're gonna make that video too. I actually did a video on Arnold. He started with a 6-plex, so we'll table that one for now. We'll talk about Arnie in video 2. But the more again, people may not know this, but we don't plan or prep for these videos. I'm just going through this conversation in real time. So I'm envisioning my spreadsheet, right? Which is all numbers, right? Costs and then income, rent. And that produces, because when you divide that by the cash, you get a yield. I'm now starting to think, if I was a homeowner, maybe I don't have those costs, but maybe I have 3 or 5 variables that are important to me. Again, the right school district, yes or no. The right bedroom count, yes or no. Less than 10 years old, yes or no. So basically what I'm thinking about, again, I'm just playing this out real time.
Right.
Homeowners could take the same concept, change the cost variables to their characteristics, probably need to give that a weighting, because in our case, school district was like priority number one. If everything else was right and school district was wrong, we weren't buying it, right? That was how important it was for me. We were buying before Teresa was in school. We weren't going to move until she graduated. It was just our thing, right? Right or wrong, that was us. So I think I'm just starting to play with, because again, what I think works, especially as the market slow down, is a buy box. Again, what is a buy box? Simply said, it's where do you want to, where are you looking to buy? I want to be very clear. You can't be all over the place, right? So again, just speaking Bay Area here, right? You really shouldn't be in Los Altos, Los Gatos, San Jose, Campbell, and Oakland and Fremont, right? That's too broad, right? If you don't know where those cities are, they're just cities within 45 minutes of each other, but they're very, very different, very, very different price points. So the first thing, a buy box, I think makes sense. Like, where do you want to be? Usually it's a zip code. It might be a city. Like, I think Mountain View has like three zip codes. So maybe you want to be in Mountain View, or maybe you want to be in Mountain View, but Los Altos schools. That's a thing where I'm at. And that's actually what we chose. So I'm just trying to play this out. I think that makes sense, but more importantly, it's the daily discipline. And then lastly, you and we've talked off camera about your portfolio and your action. I really do think all buyers need to start offering under list price. I think everybody should be fishing for the motivated sellers, because what I'm hearing from agents, and I talk to them every week, a lot of listings today are what I call wish prices.
Right.
If you're a homeowner and you're desperate and you've already been outbid 9 times, you might fall for a wish price. I don't know. I mean, buyer remorse is tough, right? You get into the house, you're all excited. Then a year later, like, oh my God, we overpaid, or my mortgage payment's too tight. We can't do this. We can't do that. I think as the market slows down, as transactions crash, I think home buyers, like first time home buyers, I think should be pickier. So I'm actually starting to come around the idea that maybe the basics of one rental at a time, or more specifically, how to get started one rental at a time, could help a homeowner. It will give them permission. It will build confidence. It will help them understand what is good or bad. The variables might be different, but I don't know. I'm just playing with this in real time.
I think there's something to be said with that. Again, it's just the same skill sets, but I think maybe it takes away the emotional part with it. Because when you're looking at maybe, looking to buy from an owner occupied, perspective, I think there's just different, again, metrics, what's important to you and the priority. So I think if you could take away from that, like, oh, I love this place and I like this color. And well, no, what's the rate of return? Yeah. What's the big picture, right? Like, because at the end of the day, that's what we're really doing. I mean, this is, unless you're looking to retire in this first place, no.
Yeah. I don't, exactly.
The right move to launch you to the next move, because this isn't the end all be all. This is just the beginning.
Yeah, so that's a great point.
Allows you, it allows you a good framework to understand, what's important, because it's all numbers. Like, numbers don't lie. So, but emotions are, trust me, from a real estate standpoint, you hear it all, oh, I love this place. Oh, you know what I mean? But you got to take away the love part, because that's where they they get
you. Yeah. You do something financially stupid. Sense,
they don't step into it, but they don't look at the numbers. They're all like, oh, but I love this. And my kid, so I'm telling you, I think the course allows you a little bit more of a,
it's like it's a governor, right? It removes some of, that's the big thing for me. And that's why I always said no to homeowners, right? Because again, I can't calculate emotion, right? I'm a very rational thinker, right? Almost too rational. But yeah, I think there's something there. I think it could really help folks. And it will, and again, to your point, right? If this is a plan, if you're getting on the property ladder with an FHA or home, 3.5% down, and you want to make it a rental, like in a year or two, it is somewhat about the numbers. So it should definitely be a part of it. So I think you're right. I think there's something there. I don't know if people agree with this. People who take my course, I may want to adjust the spreadsheet just to give a sample of what it might look like. If I get enough comments from owner occupants saying, hey, I want to get it, I might actually take the time this weekend to doctor up my spreadsheet, how it could look. I
don't think it's going to be too much of a difference.
No, I don't think so.
It's a first time buyer. I don't know. I think at least puts people in the right perspective of understanding that the first purchase should be a launch pad for yourself. Yeah. Whether you're living in it or not, you still got to understand the numbers. I
Yeah,
mean,
I
sure,
agree.
there's going to be the variables. Is it close to work? Is it convenient? You know, is it safe? Obviously, you know,
Yeah.
is it clean?
You
Da, da,
may
da,
have
da,
you probably
affordable.
have a couple more veto factors, right? Even if the numbers
Right.
like Olivia, people always ask, what was Olivia doing during my high acquisitions? She was my
Right.
veto, and she
Right.
vetoed 2 or 3 deals that I was excited about. She's like, nope, nope. And she was right. We shouldn't have bought there. Maybe it was the wrong part of town. It was transitioning or whatever her
Mm-hmm.
spidey senses said.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so maybe there's a couple of veto factors as a homeowner, right? Because you are going to live there a year or two if it's a plan. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'm starting to come around. I'm starting to think I can. Maybe I was being selfish or blinded. Um, I do see a lot of emotion and I don't play there because it's all about numbers to me. But anyways,
Mm-hmm.
dude, I want to thank you for doing this with me. If somebody wanted to reach out to you about Velocity Mortgage, non-QM lending, all that great stuff,
Yeah.
how do you want them to do it?
Just SDAO at velocity, the word mortgage spelled out.com. In the subject line, just the acronym ORAAT, nothing else. In the body of
5
the email,
letters.
just right. Body of the email, just a simple maybe description of what you're looking for, property type, even better, property address, or at least the city and state where you're looking to invest in, your mid FICO score if possible, and best number to reach you, and I'll be in touch within 24, 48 hours.
There you go. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Mike.